right. Hello, everybody. Give me just 1 minute here.
It's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead, and I'm eating ice cream. I'm sorry. It's been a hot day.
It's been a long, hot day. This day started real early this morning.
Like 4:30 in the morning.
Like 4:30 in the morning. We was eating breakfast by 5. All right. I think I got it.
Are we there?
Yeah. I expanded everything out. I believe we can read it tonight.
Maybe. See a lot of people here.
Oh, yes, sir.
Some of our moderators. And
yeah.
Also, I don't even know what we're going to talk about. I'm too tired.
A matter of fact, I just walked in the door.
Wanda just...
Wanda hadn't even had a chance to have anything to snack on. There's a ladder still sitting right here.
I know. I was going to tell you it needed putting down.
Oh, well. Maybe the wind won't blow tonight. Oh, man. It has been one day. Wanda and I got up at 4 o'clock this morning. And
I got up at 4:30.
Wanda was up at 4:30.
I don't usually do that.
I started cooking breakfast at 4:30. We ate breakfast by 5. And by 5:30, we were out the door.
Feeding animals, taking care of everything.
Getting the high tunnels took care of. Actually, we were picking blueberries by 5:45.
Yeah. Picking blueberries 5:45. We used to do this, though. When we first got married, during blueberry season, his dad and mom had 100 blueberry trees. And I'm talking trees, 10, 12, 15 feet tall. And we picked blueberries for the market. We had a, what do you call him? A broker.
We had a broker.
And Danny and I would get up, leave here, drive to his mom's, and be sitting at his mom's house by 5 o'clock.
Yep.
As soon as it breaks daylight, a few minutes after 5, we were picking blueberries, and we picked anywhere from 20 to 25 gallons of blueberries before 10, 11 o'clock.
Before 10 o'clock, yeah.
And was back home before lunch.
Before lunch, we was back home and done picked 20 to 25
Now, occasionally
gallons.
we stayed till lunch, but...
Yeah, but it wasn't very often. Because usually we had to go through town and take care of some things, drop off some blueberries for people if they wanted them.
Yeah, people we sold them to there.
Sold to locally, and then we would come home. And then we would grade all the blueberries and have them ready for the broker that afternoon.
Yeah. And if you've never done that...
It's a job. But it's a short-lived job. It's only lasts for about, what, 3 weeks? 3 to 4 weeks we did that?
4 weeks, maybe.
Maybe 4 weeks we done it. But now we have our own blueberry trees. We have 50 of our own. And this morning we were picking them at just like we always did, but at 6 o'clock, the guys come rolling in to start putting a new roof on our house.
Yes, Vicky, she asked about some Cherokee seeds. If you have just 2 or 3 of each, I'd be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went back and finished picking the blueberries later.
Yeah.
And gave the guys the blueberries.
We gave all the blueberries to the working crew here. There were 8 guys here working on our house. They started at 6. By 9 o'clock, the whole roof was off of our house.
The shingles and stuff.
Everything was off of the roof of our house. By 10 o'clock, the mess was cleaned up and in a trailer. And by
11, they had the shingles on the roof ready to go, and we had to make a quick trip to town to get more shingles. They said we didn't have enough, and so we took off to town and was back in what, 30 minutes?
A little over 30 minutes we went to town.
I was driving.
Yep, Miss Wanda took us to town really fast and back.
And we still needed one more.
We're 1 square short. But I'm going to get 2 just so I've got some extra ones because it's hurricane season. You never know when a limb or something might hit the roof and mess the shingle up. So I'm going to go ahead and get 2 squares and store the rest.
Mama tried to get a tin roof put on Monday.
I see that. Yes.
Somebody asked, what is a broker? That is a guy that, for us, he lived in Louisiana. And he had a produce stand that sold all kinds of things. And he picked it up from farmers, and he came in and picked up the blueberries from us. He had a lady that lived close by that he got quail eggs from. Another guy in the area he got firewood from. Yep. And so he would make a trip in here and pick everything up and go back to his place in Louisiana. So he would take all the blueberries we could pick.
Yeah, we were looking at talking about a tin roof. We were looking at putting a metal roof on our house here, but it was going to cost around, I think it was $30,000 to put the metal roof on our house, and plus there was a problem getting the metal. So because metal's just not available hardly anymore, so we had to opt out of doing a metal roof, and we had to go back with the shingle roof. Of course, the shingle roof that's on there has been on there for 19 years. And I figure if it lasts another 19 years, I won't have to worry because I probably won't be here in 19 years. So,
yeah. So we're good. My mind's
just went blank. It's just been a long day. I mean, I literally.
What time is it? It's after 8.
8:07.
4. So that's 12, 16 hours and counting. Woo.
Yeah, actually, I tried to help the guys as much as I could. I took the bucket of my tractor and drove around the house and let them put the shingles in the bucket of my tractor because you cannot get anything up around my house to put the shingles on. And I would take them out and dump them in the trailer for them and come back and let them load the bucket up again and go dump them. I did that for them. I took the forks on the tractor and I moved all the shingles and put them up where they could load them up onto the roof because they had one of those gas-powered shingle lifts that left them up on the roof. And I brought all the shingles over to them and stacked them up there in front of where they were putting the shingles up at so that they didn't have to tote them. So I tried to help them as much as possible because I wanted this roof on fast and I wanted it on bad.
And so the title of the video tonight is Work Smarter, Not Harder. Usually Danny and I do our own work. Almost everything around here we do. But this time, Wanda ain't getting on that roof.
Well, Wanda wasn't getting up there.
I wasn't getting up there for
nothing. It didn't bother me, but when my health breaking down like it is, it's just a little bit too much to put. We're going to end up with between 37 and 40 squares on the roof. We're not sure exactly how many it's going to end up being. We put 36 on so far, and they're telling us we might need 2 more. So they're going to come back Monday and finish.
Yeah. And y'all, I was the camera crew from 6 o'clock. They hit the yard running at 6 o'clock. These guys move when they start. They moving. Somebody they ain't standing around talking. They ain't standing around playing on the phone.
Nope.
They are moving. And I tried keeping up with them all day. I finally come in, just sat down, and said I was trying to video enough to get enough film to do a decent video of them. And hopefully put it up Monday if I can get it edited tomorrow. And it was pretty cool watching them and seeing them go through their process and trying to capture them without interrupting their work.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think Wanda did a good job. Now, the folks over on Patreon have already seen a lot of it.
They've seen pictures.
They just seen pictures of it. They ain't seen any video, but they've seen pictures of the whole process all the way through because we kept them updated.
Well, I kind of got lazy.
You got lazy after what, 11 o'clock or 9 o'clock or something like that?
I updated them every hour for 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, something like that. Got busy, couldn't keep up. Updated them a couple of times this afternoon, and I ain't updated them what it actually finished and looking like. I guess I'll wait till Monday.
Yeah, but they haven't seen the finished product. Let me put it that way.
They've seen some of it.
They've seen some of it, yes. And that's, something that Wanda and I, for about the last, I'm going to say the last 2 years, we've been kind of a little bit panicky about our roof because we knew it was getting old. And we were so afraid. We was afraid we was going to have a storm in here and maybe tear it up before we could afford to have anything done because putting a roof on is expensive. And we saved and saved and saved and saved, and hopefully, we're going to be able to pull through this thing, without too much trouble. But the Lord has been good to us, and we was able to get a crew in here and get this thing done in one day. If I'd have just had enough shingles, they'd have had it done in one day. But I miscalculated. It was my fault. I missed it by a few squares, and uh, it is what it is. They agreed to come back Monday and put the other ones on there. If, when I go to the store, they still have some of those shingles left. It'd be my luck.
Because they were selling them yesterday, they said, like crazy.
Yeah, they were selling them yesterday like crazy, is right. And so hopefully Monday they'll have two, at least, if I could just get one square, they said they could finish, but I really wanted two.
Yeah.
So that we have extras.
And what else we had going on this week? I done forgot.
Oh gosh, this week we have a surprise coming Monday.
Well, they won't know about it till maybe a week or two.
It'll be several weeks before we show it on YouTube.
Yeah,
probably.
I don't think.
Because I'm just not very energetic right now.
I know I'm not. I'm eating my ice cream, y'all. Y'all just chat away. Then talk to them.
But yeah, we've got another surprise coming Monday. A big project here at Deep South Homestead fixing to kick off and get underway.
What do we actually get done? Oh, the tub. I think I told you last weekend we got the tub in. We've got the shower curtain up. I've got the curtain for the window ordered. And that video will be up sometime next week if I can get it edited. Y'all, editing's just went out the window for the most part this week. We've been so busy between the greenhouse, something else we did. What did we do? There's something in my mind I know.
Well, we've been picking the garden all week. That's one thing. I mean, we've been picking. You've been canning. We dug all of our potatoes.
Was that this week? That was last week.
No, that was...
I don't remember this week was.
This is Saturday. Yeah, it was this week we dug all of our potatoes.
I thought it was last week. Y'all, my mind don't remember.
We dug all of our potatoes. We've pulled all of our onions. We've finished up with several things in the garden. They're fixing to come out because it's just done got to the point now where our growing season's gradually, a lot of things are coming to an end in our growing season here. And some things, like tomatoes, are just now coming on pretty good. We did put the tomato video up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the tomato video up.
I wish it was homemade ice cream. This is
no, if it was homemade, I'd be eating
this is cookies and cream, and Wanda made the mistake of getting
sugar-free.
Was it sugar-free or
diet or something?
Something.
Yeah.
And it freezes hard. And you can't even get a spoon in it. I have to let it sit on the cabinet for 10 minutes before I can even get any. I will not make that mistake again. I don't know what makes it do that, but I don't like my ice cream that hard.
Miss Roy says if all goes well, they'll be closing on their homestead Thursday or Friday. Amen. Be moving next week.
Wow.
Weekend. I'm glad. I mean, I'm going to tell you guys, time is really getting short here because there's, gosh, I wish I could say things on here. Let's just say that the powers to be are making cash offers on people's houses above what they're worth, so that I think I talked about this on Patreon. So that in the near future, they force the market to go really high, and people are having to pay high prices for homes and land. In the very near future, they're talking about crashing the market so that people's properties will have to go into foreclosure, and then they can step in and buy the rest of the land and houses at dirt cheap prices.
Yeah, I wish we could come to the lake tomorrow, but I don't know if I'll be out of bed. I can barely move. I have been walking so much today. My hips and legs, when I sat down a while ago, I had to help myself up.
Yeah.
Y'all don't know what getting old is. When you do, you can't move, right? All you ladies that know what I'm talking about. I told Danny, I said, I'll go to sleep during our live.
It's going to be, we're tired tonight. I have to admit, we're really tired tonight.
So we've kind of gotten a good bit done. We've got, I'm trying to think, my greenhouse, I think I put up something on Crazy Days, high tunnel, whatever y'all want to call it. I call it a greenhouse. It's a high tunnel / greenhouse.
Yeah. We've got a few things in it that's still going in our garden. We've got some we've got some green beans. The Cherokee yellow wax beans in the front garden is just fixing to be ready to pick probably Monday.
Yeah. They're wanting to know about the watermelons. Would you ever decide with them?
The watermelons, I went back and I fertilized them with some 824-24, and I put some calcium nitrate around them. I put some golden bloom liquid phosphorus around them. And today, I noticed today they're about, where am I at the camera? They're about that long. They're about maybe a foot and a half long now. So it's possible they might pull out.
Billy said he didn't think we ever got tired. Billy, we just gonna hire in
What are you doing?
A crew.
Oh.
As usual, we bring in the crew. Today we really brought
a crew in.
We really brought in a crew today. I did not. I wasn't going on that roof.
Yeah, Mr. John said something. I was going to try to catch it.
Oh.
You jerked it right whenever.
I'm sorry.
Okay. It's almost too late to prepare. Hard assets set aside to buy more land when crash comes. Mr. John, that's exactly what Wanda and I are doing. Yeah. We are being patient, and we are setting a little bit aside each month so that when the crash comes in the next couple of years, probably 1 to 2 years, we're projecting that the crash will come. And if that happens, we want to be able to strike. The old expression goes, we want to be able to strike while the iron's hot.
Why don't you grow during the summer months? We do. We do.
We grow some things during the summer months, but here, when we talk about the summer months, and Mr. John will understand this, and different ones that live down south here.
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes, butter beans.
Field peas.
Field peas, okra. These are some of about the 4 things that you can grow successfully. It gets
tomatoes and peppers.
Well, peppers will grow, but it gets too hot for tomatoes because they won't set bloom. Because we're talking about 100+ temperature, days on end, with the humidity in the very high 90s all the time. And if the powdery mildew don't get it, then some sort of blight will.
And so we usually have some things in the garden that are almost slammed through by June.
Usually by the end of June, most of our stuff's over.
Then everything that stays in the garden is stuff that we don't have to do a whole lot to. It can handle the heat, and we harvest in the fall. Sugarcane, we don't have to do anything to it. We harvest in the fall.
Danny, my corn is starting to tassel. What do I do, and when do I do it to prevent the worms from getting in the tips of the ears of the corn? It depends on how many ears you have. If you just got a few, you can put mineral oil on the silks once it tassels good. But me personally, if I was going to do it, I would buy BT, which is an organic spray called Bacillus thuringiensis, and I would spray the ends of the corn silks with it. That will prevent any worms from getting in the ends of your corn and eating it.
How long does it take for broccoli heads to go from a dime size to harvest?
That depends on how much nutrition you have in the soil. They can go from dime size to nothing. I mean, literally stay dime size if they do not have enough nutrition in the soil. The biggest thing with broccoli is boron deficiencies. If you cut the head off of it and it has a hollow stem in the middle, more than likely you have a boron deficiency. You want to check to make sure it keeps plenty of water all the time, plenty of nitrogen, plenty of phosphorus. You got to make sure you got plenty of lime so that the pH is right.
So Ron, thank you. Ron Foster has a new book, and I saw that this week, and I was going to order one. So he said he sent me one. It's a cyber attack. So if you're interested in reading a good novel by Ron Foster, check out, I don't know the name, Ron, you'll have to put the name of it, but it's about a cyber attack. I did see that on Facebook because I keep up with him on Facebook. And I thought about ordering it, but I hadn't had time to sit down long enough, so I'm going to get one anyway. Now you got to give me time to read.
I'm trying to catch up here. I was listening while you...
How do I get rid of chat? I'm on my phone tonight and can't see
Miss Wanda.
Miss Wanda. I don't know.
It depends on what kind of phone you're on. They're all different. Can
Can you turn it a different way?
Straw as mulch, yay or nay? Depends on outdoors. It depends on where you live. If they spray the straw there with Roundup to kill it, then I would not use it. But if they don't spray it with Roundup where you're at, it will work fine for mulch.
Have we gotten to use the new fishing stuff yet, or tested out the new knife? Danny took the knife to the.
It's in the skinning room out at the shop. We haven't actually caught any fish to skin yet or cut up.
One went out. That was one of our videos.
That was one of our videos this week. Yes, it was.
We went out the first of the week, and the fish were just biting. It was crazy. And I talked him into those green worms, and he was like, no, we don't need green worms. Actually, what he was doing was getting worms to start a new worm bed. What were the red wigglers?
Yeah.
He built him a red wiggler box on top of the other worms that we have. And I talked him into one box of green worms. I said, I'm getting them. And we went out there, and the fish just bit and bit and bit. And it was a carp. It wasn't a bass.
It was a carp. We went back and really looked at it.
We got to look at it. It was a carp.
It was a carp.
And so we went back out the next night.
Yes, the next day.
Didn't bite at all.
Nothing would hardly bite at all.
We went to the front pond, the catfish, nothing.
Nothing.
Brim, nothing. We went out, was it last night?
Yep.
Yeah.
Last night.
We caught maybe 2. They're just not. And so we've not tried it. He sent several things. I've not tried the worm things yet.
Yeah, we haven't tried the worm
I thought I'd do that probably this weekend, but we ain't had time. And then on talking about that, Mike tied these. And these are, I've never seen anybody tie them, but they're little bitty, what do you call these?
Like grubs. They're a little small.
And they've got these cute little tails on them. So I'm anxious to try those and see if they'll bite that. We've got the funniest fish. One night they'll bite anything, and the next night they won't bite nothing.
They don't like artificial bait. They like real stuff. And JM from the Nut House says they're going Wednesday to get their trailer.
Yes.
Yes.
Get out of California.
Get out of California, Jen.
Now.
I don't know if you've seen the comment I sent you, girl, but there's stuff going on out there they're not talking about.
She knows.
Well, Jen probably knows.
The green worms were not caterpillar worms. They were, there's some kind of something that they feed the worms or do something that they're green, and then when you start putting them on your hook and they're exposed to the air, the green kind of goes away. I don't know why. Don't ask me. It's weird.
Yes.
But we got them at Walmart for those of you that want to know. So we've tried fishing a couple of times. Old-fashioned dough bait. Yeah, Danny's
dough bait will catch the carps. That's what you use to catch carp with is dough bait. And we really don't want to catch our carp.
That was an accident.
That was just total accident that actually happened.
I was sitting there, and all these brim kept biting, and a lot of them were small, but some of them were good eating size. And I was up to number 9, catching them on one worm. And I told Danny, I said, I just want a bass. And it probably 2 to 3 minutes. I think he shut the camera off for a minute, and he shut it back on, and that's when it grabbed it. And he thought I just had a big brim. And he said, well, pull it in, pull it in. And when he saw it, he thought it was a bass, and I did too, because we weren't thinking about the carp that we put in there.
Sammy, it's the potatoes is from the day that you see the plants emerging out of the ground and becoming green, the green stalk on the potatoes. Usually around 90 days, depends on the potato. So Danny, should I be getting out of Oregon?
That's according to what's going on.
I'm just going to go ahead and say yes, because there's stuff going on with the Tecton Plates up there that's just not being talked about. And for those of you who live in central Missouri, I mean, like where let's just put it this way. I don't want to say too much.
Anybody's on the fault line.
Let's just say eastern Missouri.
Anybody's on the fault line.
Yeah, eastern Missouri, the Mississippi River, the Missouri River, anywhere in that area, they stuff going on. You wondering why that Mississippi River bridge broke? I'm going to tell you why it broke. It's because the Tecton plates are already shifting and nobody's talking about it.
Jen says she filled 4 trash bins. She secured a bunch of stuff just in case.
I don't blame you, girl. I'm telling you,
everybody just be prepared in case, because there's so much going on.
There is some kind of stuff. We watched some stuff last night that.
Actually, it was this morning at 4 o'clock.
At 4, no, it was actually last night before we went to bed too.
Yeah, but I mean, mine was 4 o'clock.
You watched again this morning at 4:30. But guys,
I wish I could put the sites. What was it?
I don't know. We got to be careful because if we say too much on there.
Yeah, that's all right. Anyway, y'all just look for stuff. This just happened to pop up, and I was reading the comments, and I've never watched this guy before. And in the comments, there was somebody else said, "Hey, I've never even heard of you before." And he's on YouTube, and he's been on YouTube obviously for years. And they say, but they had gotten up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and for whatever reason, it popped up, and they were watching, and they said, "Thank you for the information." And it was to deal with the Tecton plates and stuff. And this guy was really knowledgeable, very, very knowledgeable. He worked in that position for many, many, many years. So I don't know how to tell you how to find him, but you know, y'all Google some of that stuff and see if you can find somebody.
You can find some nuts now.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to think of the name. It was something like.
Susie Q wants to know, can we put the link on Patreon?
If I can find it.
If we can go back and find it, this guy was outstanding.
It might be in my history.
We just go to history and get it. That's all we got to do.
I'll try to put it on Patreon.
Yeah, we'll try to put it on Patreon.
It was like a 2-hour thing, but he showed maps. He showed all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just going, wow. This has never happened before. Wow.
This guy,
he worked in this. He knew this stuff.
Yeah, this was his life. I mean, he's done this his whole life. And he
was overwhelmed.
It was amazing to sit and watch.
Yeah, so anyway, we got to get off that subject.
We will try to post him on Patreon.
It wasn't Marfugal.
No, they want to know, do we watch Marfugal? I do occasionally. Not very often, because sometimes he just gets off into left field for me. I'm way deeper than he is in a lot of things, and the things that he talks about is things that I already know about.
Dutch Sense is good, but now Dutch Sense doesn't post like he used to because they kept pulling him. Dutch Sense got me started on watching earthquakes and stuff like that. And we do watch Ice Age Farmer.
Sinclair, my wife's fault line. If I get near it, it's my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian from Ice Age Farmer is a dear friend of ours, and we do keep up with Christian.
I will try, if I find the link, I'll try to come back and I'll pin a comment in this video.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I think if I can find it, I'll try to remember that once we get off of here.
Anna wants to say, what is Dutch Sense? Dutch Sense is a what would you call him? A seismograph, earthquake kind of guy?
He's an earthquake guy.
He does all the earthquakes around the earth. And YouTube's done pulled him down one time because he just got too big, too much information started getting out there, so they pulled him one time.
Yeah, he's great on earthquakes. No, I don't recognize that name, Dana. We'll find it. It wasn't a name. It was almost like a.
Was it Randall Carson?
No.
That wasn't it. Do you think Tennessee is going to be safe? The only thing about Tennessee that bothers me, Wanda and I was looking at some property in Tennessee here this past year. The only thing about Tennessee is loaded with nuclear sites. And there's just too many nuclear facilities in the state of Tennessee for that state to be safe. Because they are literally, if they're not a power plant system, they're an actual, I mean, they're everywhere. Just Google it, and you'll find out what I'm talking about. Arkansas has got a major one right outside of Russellville. Now, the one I looked at in Missouri is not an actual nuclear plant. It's just a place where they...
Emergency Management Associates. Thank you, Carrie. That's it.
Carrie found it.
Yeah, I knew it
Okay.
was a title. It was something like that, and it's Emergency Management Associates. That is it, Carrie. That guy is pretty in depth. Well, there was two of them actually, and they were just kind of shocked at what was going on. And take it with a grain of salt. I don't know how good he is because it's my first time watching him, but hey, I know. So there, y'all can, if somebody find the link, some of my moderators might can find Emergency Management Associates.
Yeah, South Carolina's another one. Connecticut's another one. All these places are full of nuke plants. And when Wanda and I looked for property all over the United States just to have as a backup place, we couldn't find anything. I mean, to be honest with you, everywhere we looked, there was a nuclear facility very close. And when you look at the prevailing winds during most of the year, any of the property we looked at was in the direction of those prevailing winds. And we also looked at nuclear sites that were possible targets if there was ever a war or anything like that. And the United States is covered up with them. They're everywhere. So, I mean, really, it's going to be very hard to say there's a safe spot really anywhere out there.
Yeah, that's why we said we're about as safe here as we are anywhere else.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking for a safe place,
yeah, I don't even know.
Ask Jen. Jen's been looking for how many years? 4 or 5 years. And one place or another has their thing. If anybody's done any research on where to be and what's safe, JM at the Nut House has done it.
Jen has done it.
She studied every state, every place in every state, and she's still bumfuzzled about where she's
Yeah. I mean, guys.
It's crazy.
Everywhere we looked, I mean, Wanda and I looked all over the whole United States. I mean, I even thought about Idaho. I mean, I was looking everywhere. If you get out in that part of the country, then Yellowstone is, they're not even talking about Yellowstone. Yellowstone is about to blow its stack, and they're not even talking about it. The magma under it is building unreal. The magma underneath the New Madrid Fault right now is literally boiling, and there's heat pockets spewing up out of the ground everywhere that nobody's talking about.
And Gene Paul's right. There's no safe place on earth. So, I mean, really, wherever you are, make the best of it. Do what you got to do. And that's what we came to.
We came to the fact, I mean, I was looking at all the Navy maps that they have out there if the New Madrid goes off. What are the height levels? I talked about this on Patreon. You know, they say that 600 foot at elevation is going to be one of the safest places. Anything below 600 is probably going to go underwater. After doing some deep research into that, that's not 100% accurate, because when an earthquake happens, you do not know what the tecton plates are going to do. You don't know which one's going to rise. You don't know which one's going to fall. Land that, like we're at, it's at 350 feet above sea level, could easily become 600. And the only reason they said 600 is because they truly believe it's 400, but they wanted to have a 200-foot variance range there. So you have to take, and we're at 350.
Yeah,
so I mean,
a little over 3. So I mean,
you don't know. We could rise, we could go down. You don't really know.
If you sat and worried about every possibility of what could happen, you would never go anywhere, because you'd say, "What if I get in my car and I wreck going to town?" You'd never go get in your car. You know, you got to just have faith, and you got to go with it. Now, don't do stupid stuff.
Don't do stupid stuff.
Don't get on a motorcycle and say, "Well, I'm gonna go 100 miles an hour." No, that's kind of weird. But
Dustin, I would not move to the South Pacific. I'll be honest with you, because the South Pacific is in what's called the Ring of Fire.
It's already having issues.
The Ring of Fire. This coming week, we have a severe coronal mass ejection headed to the Earth. What is it? Around the 25th of this month. Somewhere between the 24th to 25th, somewhere in that area. And then right on its heels is a blood moon. When you have those two scenarios go together, you can just about, and the blood moon's going to be over the Ring of Fire, visible over the Ring of Fire. You can just about bet that you're, by the, what's today, the 22nd? By the 1st or the middle of next week, you're going to probably see earthquakes. If you watch the right people that talk about it, you're going to see earthquakes everywhere.
And they may be mild, and they may
be mild. They may not be but 2s or 3s or 4s. But most of them will be in the Ring of Fire, and there'll be some in the central part of the United States. There'll be some around Italy. I mean, they're going to be popping up all over the place. Yeah. So. Okay,
enough said. We're out of.
Well, we talked about being smarter, not hard. Working smarter, not harder. I mean.
That's true. That's part of it.
That's part of it.
And if you get, I mean, you can get out and work your fingers to the bone trying to find a place. If you're where you feel you should be, that's where you stay.
If you're where God is laid on your heart for you to be, then that's where you need to be.
And that's what most people, I guess they can worry themselves to death, just like with this thing this past year. You can sit and worry yourself to death, or you can be okay with it and learn to live. I mean, that's part of it. We can't be scared 24/7.
How many videos do y'all do on Patreon? We haven't used it yet and don't know much about it. We put several videos up on Patreon.
I try to put one video a week, and then I post pictures or sayings, or I post something off and on. But Patreon is usually Danny does one video a week, sometimes 2 if he feels like. Last week I think he might have done 2.
Yeah.
But it's just whenever he feels like it. It's not written in stone when I put one up. It's just whenever we feel like it.
But the patrons, they have more of an in-depth into our personal life about what's going on.
I try to show them a little bit more in pictures day to day, because I can throw a picture up really easily on Patreon and write up something, where with a video I have to put it over on YouTube, and then I have to throw the link over to Patreon. It takes me a more process with a video. A picture's almost like that.
The Stonehouse Farm says, where do we buy our wheat fabric foam? We get it from Grower Solutions. We have a promo code in the description down below, Deep South. If you use that promo code, then you get a 10% discount. I mean, we don't make anything off of it, but we cut a deal with them for our subscribers. And, you know, so guys, if you use it, you get a 10% discount on your purchase.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see here. I've seen several things go by. My mind is just, I'm trying to keep up.
We're working on the front fence, too.
Yes, we are. We are moving our front fence, working on it. We've got that.
Anybody that's been here knows our land goes out to the road, but we've got our fence. Danny put it in a ways from the road, and we've decided to move it out and give our cows more room for pasture. And so we're he started working on that part this week, because we're trying to re-fence everything and have it all where we want it. And so that'll be another project we're working on, is fixing the front fence.
That's a major project. We got to get that completed. We have a lot of upgrades to our property that's coming here in the next month. Those of you who are faithful and watch us on a daily basis, especially patrons, they get to see everything as it happens. We've got some very interesting changes that we're making to our homestead here, and it's one of those things we've been wanting to do for a long time, and we're just now getting around to doing it.
And then the cabin, our off-grid cabin, all the money from Patreon goes to the off-grid cabin. We've been upfront with everybody on Patreon that that's where the money goes, to the cabin. We have a couple of projects over there. We just finished the bathroom. Yeah. I will have that video up shortly. Danny's going to be working on the porch. We're going to try and get that done.
We got to get the porch finished. That's one thing, because hurricane season's coming, and we got to get underneath the porch finished. We have the plywood. It's just that there's only one of me, and I can only do so much in a day's time, so we haven't gotten to it yet.
Okay, so Margot has said this before I saw it. Her Cherokee beans seem tough and chewy. What size should they be when she picks them? I don't let mine get very big.
No,
they get long.
They get long.
But
we just
not big around.
You don't want to let them go to the point where they form a bean inside them.
Yeah, you pick them before you can see an indentation of a bean.
Yeah.
I let a couple of mine this time go a little longer, because I forgot to pick them one day, and the next day some of them had small beans in them. And I noticed today they were a little bit tougher. Hello, Tinker's wife. How many cattle do we have?
We're up to 9.
Bunch of spoiled babies.
We got a bunch of spoiled babies, is right. We're up to 9 now.
Do you ever did you order your high tunnel from Grower Solution, and do you have a code? Yes, we ordered.
Yes, we ordered ours from Grower Solutions, and the code is Deep South.
And if you call them,
ask to speak to Tyler,
or tell them
or Sarah, or Tyler, or tell any of them. They all know us personally. Just tell them that Deep South sent you, and you would like the Deep South discount code, and they'll give it to you.
What is the brand of hot water heater you use at the cabin, and is it propane? Yes, it's propane.
Yeah, it is propane. What's it called, an L10? I forgot what it is now.
Echo Temp or something.
Echo Temp. It's an L10, I believe.
How many acres do you have?
We have 10 acres left. We had sold the other here several years ago. Now
he sold it before he met me.
I said several years. So
well, some people don't always know we was together. We've only been married 8 years.
We've only been married 8 years. Yes.
He sold this way before.
I sold it a few years before me and Wanda got married. Do we butcher our beef, or are they pets?
They're pets.
Everything we have right now is pets. But now this year we will be selling cattle. This year, the ones that's born, this year will have to be sold. What size is our high tunnel? They are 16 by 36.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have 2 of them, 16 by 36.
And they're the 7.5 foot high sidewall.
Yes.
Ours is not the
Ours is not a greenhouse, and they're not the short sidewalls. These are the 7.5 foot high sidewall greenhouses.
Yeah. How do you get gnats out of the green stalk planter soil? I don't know. I've never had.
Sounds like you use peat moss in your green stalk planters.
What would you do? Some kind of bug killer?
Well, I mean, no, you could probably use neem oil. Neem oil would probably get rid of them.
Yeah. Well, Danny's cows are big pets.
Mine are babies. I sit out there in the barn this morning and just pet it and pet it and pet them. They just stand there and they roll their head around like a who knows what, like a dog. They sit there and want to be petted. So now some of them don't want you petting them, but most of them do.
Yeah, and they know him. They come when he calls.
Oh yeah, they know him.
Well, most of the time. Now I have to tell on Danny this week. I don't remember what day it was. I think I know what you're going to say. I stayed in the house and was finishing up a few things, and he always goes out to feed his animals. And by the time he gets through feeding the cows, I'm outside. And then if we need to work on the high tunnel, or we're working in the garden or whatever, that's when we go do that. And I walk out, and he's grabbing the Ranger, and he said, "Come on, we got to find the cows." And I said, "What do you mean we got to find the cows?" They're always in the barn first thing, waiting on him to feed them.
Yeah, every morning they're always there.
And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "We don't have no cows." I said, "Why do we not have any cows?" And he said, "I don't know. They're gone. They're not here." He said, "They've got out. They're just gone." And so we get in the Ranger. We ride the whole property. The whole property.
Can't find them cows nowhere.
Cows. And I'm just panicking, thinking they're on the 7,000 acres back here. We get back to the barn. Everyone else standing in the barn waiting on him.
They're all in their trough, standing there eating feed, because I didn't put the feed in.
When he went one way, they went the other way.
They must have just, we must have passed somewhere, and I just didn't see them. But
I laughed till I couldn't. I was like, we spent about 10, 15 minutes hunting those cows.
And they were in the barn eating.
Thank you, Gerard.
The question's been asked about the BT. Is there a brand name, a specific brand name? There's not really a specific brand name. The BT is Borcelius thuringiensis. Just Google it. You should be able to pick it up at any feed store or online at Amazon. I mean, you can get it at Walmart, anywhere.
Jen said Mike's going to be so happy to get him a cow. I think I could fit one of our little ones in a motorhome, just saying.
We got one right now that might fit in there, but
I don't fit in the motorhome. I can just see Mike toting it up in there. Jen,
Yeah.
Okay. How do I get wooden tomato stakes driven down? Make a point on the end.
We take a skill saw and cut a point on the end, take a sledgehammer and drive them in the ground. Matter of fact, I drove a pile of them this week.
Black spots on bottom leaves of tomato plants. What is that?
It's probably the spotted wilt virus. It usually starts from the bottom and goes to the top. You need to take the bottom leaves off where dirt can splatter up on them or if they touch in the ground. As a matter of fact, I have a tomato pruning video out there somewhere that tells you all this stuff. It tells you how to get rid of all this stuff.
Can we grow rhubarb in the Deep South?
No, it's too hot down here to grow rhubarb.
She said, no, he can just pet
yours.
She said, in other words, the cow ain't living in the motorhome.
How do I find y'all on Patreon? Just Google Deep South Homestead Patreon, and it should take you right to it.
Do you have to hang up shallots after you pick them to dry? What's the best way to store them?
Yes, you have to pick your shallots, or just like multiplying onions or anything, put them in a good dry location and let them dry. And you can store them in like an onion bag or anything like that in a good dry location. Make sure it's dark and it's kind of cool, and they should be fine.
We do not grow Kentucky Wonder green beans.
No, we don't grow the Kentucky Wonders, no.
Does your Coke bottle stopper work good in rain catchment?
Yes, works perfect. I have not had any problems out of it at all.
What is that? I don't know.
And the 4-inch pipe over there, or 3-inch pipe, I have a Coke bottle with just in there.
Oh, yeah.
And when it reaches a certain point, it seals off at the top where the water has to transfer over into the thing. It's called a first flush system.
Danny, are you going to hunt anything this year?
Yes, I will be hunting.
Cows.
I'll be hunting deer this year.
He's going to hunt the cows. He's already been hunting things. Y'all, and we told y'all that something was getting our corn.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody thought it was crows.
Everybody kept saying it's crows. Nope, Danny took him out this week.
It was a squirrel, and Danny knew it had to have been a squirrel because of little feet marks.
I could see the little claw marks in the soil.
And he was working on my tub first of the week, and he was looking out the window, and the little fellow was there picking up the corn, eating on it, and scratching some more.
Oh, I had just replanted all that corn again, and I looked out there, and that little squirrel was going down the road, sitting there eating them little seeds. He'd stand up and look around, and he'd go to the next one and get it out of the ground and eat it. And I had my shotgun with me, and I said, you know what?
No, you didn't. You came to the house.
No, I did not. I came to the house. That's right.
He grabbed the gun. He's headed out. This look on his face is like, he was.
I was on a mission. I went back to my former life. I was on a mission. I had a mission that had to be accomplished. I had to kill.
He was going after that squirrel.
And I went back over there. Of course, the squirrel wasn't in the garden. So I put the gun on the porch, and I went back in and went to working on the tub. Maybe 30 minutes later, I looked out, and the little rascal was back in the corn again. And I ran out the door, and I looked, and I was looking through the tomato plants and the corn and everything, and I said, you know what? If he stands up on his hind legs and looks one more time, and if I'm as good a shot as I used to be, I'm going to take him out. And I rolled him up.
Plus, he took out a snake.
Oh, I did. I killed a huge moccasin.
That snake looked like we were up on the patio, and it looked like the Loch Ness Monster going through our pond. I mean, it was splitting the water.
It was splitting the water, literally.
And he said, you watch that, I'm going after the gun.
Yep, I didn't have my pistol on me, and I really didn't want to miss this one, so I took a shotgun. And Mrs Wanda told me where he went, and I went over there and looked and looked and looked, and turned around, he was laying on the bank right beside me. I mean, a big old water moccasin, and I took him out, so we got rid of him this week.
Have you had any issues with the Alexa Pure? Our water still tastes funny even with the Alexa Pure.
Nope, ours tastes perfect.
Had any problems. Animal feed is getting sky high in Georgia. What's the deal?
I talked about this on Patreon, didn't I?
Maybe.
I think it was over on Patreon.
Don't ask me.
And I think I actually talked about it on Porch Time.
You might have, but
there's going to be a shortage of corn, especially this fall. Now, we're already going into it now, and there probably may not even be any corn to be purchased because it's all being sold to China right now, and they're not saving any up for us hardly. So the price of chicken feed, cattle feed, all this stuff is going through the roof.
Mr. Bill wants to know where you got your school desk that you have in the shop.
I found it at a garage sale.
How often do you put phosphorus on carrots?
I really don't put phosphorus on carrots because phosphorus is mainly for plants that bloom. So carrots don't bloom unless you have it in its second year. Then I would put it on it if it was in its second year because they're a biennial. But I do not use phosphorus on carrots unless they're in their blooming.
What do you feed chickens that are about 9 weeks old? Getting some this week.
22% laying pellets.
9 weeks old?
Yeah, 9 weeks. You go ahead and give them the 22%. Go ahead and boost them up. Get them going.
Devo, D-E-V-O. Cul-de-sac. Oh, she's on somebody else. I've heard that the good is paying farmers to not raise crops. I think they meant government. Yeah, I've heard that.
Well, they're subsidizing them not to plant their crops. And guys, I would love to talk about some things on here that I know, but I can't do it. There are some things going on behind the scenes.
Well, they're having. I mean, even the farmers are having so much rain, so much cold.
That's what I'm talking about. Right now, there's
helping them out, making it go away.
Well, they're flooding out the central part of the United States on purpose.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
My husband found lots of seeds in his mother's old house dated 1998, 1999. Should I throw them away?
No.
I would give them a try.
I'd plant them just to see if they'd come up.
If you get 2 plants out of 15, you still got 2 plants. So I would try it. Because we planted some field peas that were 8, 9 years old.
9 years old, and every one of them
Every one of them came up.
Yeah. Do we raise ducks, and if so, what breeds? We don't raise any ducks. I would like to raise some ducks, but
he's always wanted some.
I would like to have some khaki Campbells or some Peking ducks, but that would be the only 2 because ducks are very nasty.
Somebody said their daughter was fixing to raise some. Who was that?
That was the Naked Hog.
Okay. So we might get some from them at some point in the future.
How many hogs, goats, livestock in general do we have? We have 9 cows and about 14 or 15 chickens.
16, 17 chickens.
16 or 17 chickens. That's it. We got rid of everything else. We will be building a hog pen to house a pig. We will buy from a person that we know, and we will fatten it up and butcher it ourselves probably. But other than that, we don't do goats no more. It's just a waste of money. We were burning up too much money on feed.
And not getting no return.
We wasn't really getting enough return out of it to justify it.
I love my goats, but I'm not an animal person. So I love taking care of them, but I didn't have time to spend with them 24/7. And goats need some loving and playing and attention.
Goats are like kids. You got to stay right with them.
It was taking up a lot of time. It was taking up a lot of money. And once we got rid of all the animals except for the chickens and the cows, we could see our way to doing projects again.
We could start saving some money, yeah.
It was crazy.
So what is the best fertilizer for carrots? Depends on what time of the year you're planting them. First thing is, if the pH of the soil is not right, or if it's not like a 6.8 to a 7, it don't matter what fertilizer you use. It's not going to do you any good. But we typically use, when we get our pH right, we typically just use triple 13 or 8-24-24 fertilize, and we just fertilize the bed one good time, good and heavy, keep it good and moist after that, and we don't have any problems.
Hey, Miss Sharon, we got to have us a meet and greet again. We were just talking about Miss Sharon. I sent her a message.
Oh, there she is. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were just talking about you and the family there just the other day.
I sent her a message, and she said they was doing good.
Good.
Goats are great when you have children. Yes.
Yeah.
If you had children that can play
Plus,
around with them and stuff.
they're really hard on fences and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I know one thing I did want to talk about, Crazy Days. I like less than 100 people having 15,000 subscribers. So y'all, if you're not subscribed to Crazy Days, run over and subscribe and help me get to that 15,000 because I'm going to give away a couple of things, canning items, when I hit 15,000.
Well, the thing about Crazy Days is, if you want to see the canning videos from Deep South Homestead, you got to go over to Crazy Days
because all the cannons go
most
over
of the canning videos from this point forward will be on Crazy Days because we just don't have the room on Deep South to do it, nor the time.
And Deep South does have a canning playlist. So if you're ever looking for something, type in, like if you want to know how to can okra, canned okra, Deep South Homestead. Canned green beans, Deep South Homestead. Canned potatoes, Deep South Homestead. It should show up because we have a huge playlist, and it's called a canning playlist. Type in canning Deep South Homestead. I don't know. It should bring it up. But from this point forward, it's probably going to be on Crazy Days. I'm not going to be doing a lot of canning videos on Deep South. Since we've got the canning kitchen, I'm going to try to do some things out there if we ever figure out how. I can't go live right now because the internet doesn't work out there. My whole goal was to do some live things there, but then when metal on a roof, you can't, it won't work. So we've got to figure that out before I can ever do any lives or anything. So, now where was I at?
That's great. I was looking at Aqua Drops. I said we got a manual wringer and a washboard last week. The wringer's in very good shape. You may need it. I'm gonna tell you. Do you do farm meal worms or soldier flies for the chickens? No, we don't do any of that. We just turn them loose and let them do what they want to do. Let them eat what they want to eat. We got plenty of bugs. That's one thing there's no shortage of in the world is bugs.
We got plenty of them. They can eat all day long.
Okay, we're fixing to be at our 9 o'clock point. I'm sitting here trying to read them as fast as I can read them.
Jen said everyone should make the sweet relish and the cranberries. Yes, I've had a lot of people love the sweet relish that I make, and Jen's daughters eat the cranberry sauce that I make like it's candy. So thank you, Shadow. Recently bought soil for a container planting and it had mold. Should I throw it out or can I fix this issue?
Mold really doesn't hurt soil. Now what you may end up with is some little wild mushrooms or something coming up in it. But the mold is not going to hurt it. It just means that it's too damp, too moist. If you let it dry out a little bit, the mold should go away.
All right, Danny, how can I get cabbage worms off my cabbage right now? I'm picking them off, but I've been missing some.
Bacillus thuringiensis, just like I told him about the corn a while ago. BT is an organic spray made for all soft-bodied worms. You can use it on tomato plants, corn worms, cabbage worms, any worm. The BT will work on it, and it's supposedly a good organic spray. I keep some in the barn all the time. And luckily, we don't have to use it here very often, but I do keep it.
Randy and Nancy said, thank you for reviewing the grow lights from Hoss Tools. I bought one, and it's great. They seem to have the whole thing, the whole setup in one combination.
And it grows fast.
It does. And I've already got bush okra. Grow Family Network gave us some bush okra a year and a half ago, and I grew some in the greenhouse last year. And this year I took that little grow light thing from Hoss Tools and I put some seed in there, and I just planted them out in the field where Danny took up some of the onions, and we're going to see if the bush okra will grow out there now, because I didn't want to put it back in my greenhouse. My greenhouse is kind of alive. Y'all go watch Crazy Days. It's alive.
Yeah.
Very alive. We can't hardly walk in there.
Trying to get my garden ready. What can I plant now? Shay, it depends on where you live at. If you live in the deep south, you have to plant a warm weather crop. If you live above the 35th parallel, you can probably still plant some cool weather crops. I mean, things like snap beans. You probably won't do good with English peas, but snap beans you can probably still plant. Some of your pole beans and stuff like that. It's probably a little late for broccoli, but you get above the 45th parallel, you probably could still plant broccoli or something up there.
Gunther, yes, I do sweet relish, and it is amazing. You already have everything ready when you want to make egg salad, tuna salad, potato salad. You just dip it out and throw it in. You don't have to chop any pickles. It's great.
The Stonehouse says, how's the worms doing, and where did you buy your worms from? The worms are doing great. I've done it up on my second tray.
Dr.
Jim.
Uncle Jim.
Uncle Jim's.
On Amazon.
On Amazon, we bought it through Uncle Jim's. Be careful now if you'll get some kind of weird worm if you don't buy a good reputable source. Uncle Jim's is a good source. And actually, this week I started the large red wigglers. I built my own worm bin out of 2 plastic totes, and I put a pile of big red wigglers in it. And I use a sphagnum peat moss, and I started feeding them heavy. Them things are going ballistic. I mean, they're growing like crazy.
Pink eye purple hulls will do excellent in heat.
Yes.
They love it.
They love the heat.
They red rippers will do great. Cream peas do good. Most of your field peas will grow excellent. Black-eyed peas, that sort of thing, will do great in the heat.
And really, most of our gardening is just about to get over with. I mean, except for the very hot weather stuff.
And the greenhouses.
And the greenhouses are doing fantastic. I mean, they're like steroids. I mean, it's amazing what they're doing.
But the heat is what worries me. Danny's made it through the heat last year.
Oh yeah.
But his is a little different because he's got trees.
Yeah.
Mine is plants, and some of the things in mine will come out in a couple of 3 weeks. Some of it will stay longer, and I will be replanting. So I will go back with some of the things that will work in heat. So the greenhouse is a work in progress. It'll be a continuous thing. And if you want to know what's going on in my greenhouse, you have to go over to Crazy Days.
Yeah, you should see her greenhouse. It is freaking amazing.
Yeah. I'm just shocked.
It's like going into an arbitrarium or something, you know, like some kind of hanging garden.
Somebody says like Jurassic Park.
It's like I was thinking it's like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon or something. One of the 7 wonders of the world. When you go in there, it's like you look around and you're like, oh my God, I'm like in the Garden of Eden, you know?
Yeah, it really is, and I'm just amazed that it grows up well. But my Cherokee tan pumpkins is taking over. It's alive. It's going up and down everywhere. The Cherokee purple tomatoes are over 4 foot tall with tomatoes hanging everywhere.
I bet there's 25 tomatoes on every plant.
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
The Cherokee long ear popcorn has little ears popping on it now.
They're tasseling real good.
The Cherokee Trail of Tears beans, they're just hanging. I don't know how many. I put 3 plants, and they're hanging. There has to be 25, 30 or more beans on each plant. And it's just crazy.
The squash in there have gone ballistic.
Now, the squash was Danny's idea.
That was my idea. They're taking over the greenhouse. The Cherokee tan pumpkin has consumed a large portion of the greenhouse.
And then the Cherokee yellow wax beans are blooming for the 2nd time.
Yeah.
We had some today that come off of there. The purple beans on the other side are starting to bloom again. So I thought they would be out in the next week or 2, but they're blooming again. They're still green.
They're still going. We don't leave them.
So, have you ever used a weed flamer before?
No, we don't really have a need for them here. We're starting to use the ground cover now. And once we use the ground cover, we don't really have a weed problem.
Yeah.
And plus, if your soil is healthy, you don't have a weed problem anyway. Weeds love poor soil.
Yeah.
The richer you get your soil, the less weeds you have.
Oh, so work smarter, not harder.
That's it.
That's what we did. We decided we ain't working on this roof.
That's right. We did. We decided
I was
to do
smarter.
Yeah, you smarter.
I just paid somebody to do
Yeah.
it. Every now and then you just gotta
Every now and then
splurge a little.
you gotta fork out the money and just pay somebody. You know, you gotta realize.
Well, it was better to do that than have one of us in the hospital.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Or have me have a panic attack.
Have a panic attack.
Because I would have had a panic attack. What should those of us living in South Florida prepare for besides hurricane season?
Well, just think that they just released the GMO mosquitoes on y'all. You might have to worry about what kind of disease they're going to bring in there. I can't believe they did that, but they did do it.
If you are running squash and melons on the ground, use construction flags to mark where they are so you can easily find them later in the year. Shadow, thank you.
That is a good idea. So you can find the root of the plant.
Is that what it's saying?
Yeah, I'd put them right where you planted the plant at. If you put it right where you plant the plant and the plant runs all over the place, you go back to where that flag is and you need to fertilize it or something. There's where the root's at.
Do you sell the bush okra seed? No, I do not.
Not yet. We haven't really had enough of them to do it yet.
And Grow Family Network, I think he said he didn't have enough yet, but he's going to be trying to raise enough to have, because that's where we got them, was from Grow Family Network. Let's see. And we have had several people ask for prayer requests. One, a lady asked for her 3-month, I think it was 3-month-old grandbaby having surgery. A couple have asked for prayer for friends. Some of them have asked for prayer because of diagnoses. Or possible diagnoses. Test results. We've had, I mean, lots of people asking for lots of reasons. And so we just want to remember everybody and their prayer request. What is your favorite thing to grow in the garden?
I don't really have a favorite thing. I guess it is carrots. I love to grow carrots. Carrots is my specialty.
I don't know, because I like color and I like a lot of stuff. I like colorful food and I like flowers. I just don't know what kind of flowers I plant.
Thank you, the I am of me.
Thank you. I love color. And so, I don't know.
Do we run into rodents very much? No, we don't hardly have any rodent problem. Every now and then we will, but I usually eradicate them.
All right.
Okay. How do we keep the plants in pollinating in the high tunnel? We open the doors during the day and we let all the bees come in, and the bees learn a pattern. And when the doors open in the morning, they go in. They come out in the evening. We close the doors, and we keep the bad bugs out at night. Okay, so we gotta get ready to pray. People, it's getting late. Father, we want to come to you tonight, Lord. We want to tell you how much we appreciate you. Lord, there's been a lot of requests come across the screen tonight. Dear person who lives north of us here in Titletown, talk about his wife. Her lupus has flared back up, Lord, and she's not doing too good. Brother Ray, we want to pray for him and his family, Lord. I've seen that as it come across the screen, and Lord, many other ones are popping up here. And Father, I thank you for the ones who think enough, Lord, ahead to send us the prayer requests. Some through the mail, some by emails, some by Facebook, different ways, Lord. People are sending us prayer requests, and Father, we're honored by that, and we do bring them up before you on a daily basis, and we ask that you answer them to the best of your ability, Father, in the way that would best glorify you in the kingdom of heaven, and be with the people in their requests, Father. Many of them have made personal requests that they trust us with, and we're not going to mention them, but Father, you know the need, and we're asking that you grant these people the desires of their heart and meet their physical needs. And Father, with the looming housing bubble that's about to burst, we're praying for those people that are trying to purchase homesteads and stuff, Lord, that you will give them a good homestead at a really decent price. Lord, for those that are trying to build a new homestead, homes and barns and all these kinds of things, Father, it's it's kept us from building us a hay barn because of the prices of lumber right now. So, and people is trying to build homes. I really feel for them because I know that in a year and a half to 2 years they're planning on collapsing the economy. And Father, it's just all it's going to do is leave people stranded when that happens. And I'm praying for these people who are having to do this at this particular time. Lord, open doors and show them which direction they need to go in. Maybe a steel structure is better than a wood one, Father. And Lord, we just want to take time to tell you how much we appreciate and thank you for all that you do for us on a daily basis. And I do pray for the blessings of obedience to be bestowed upon all the ones that's in the chat tonight, Lord, so that they can have the amenities of life that they need to be able to make it through uncertain times that lie ahead for each and every one of us. And Father, I pray for the removal of people in our government that don't want to do the will of God. I pray that you remove them, Father, and raise up someone to take their place that will do the will of the Father now. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
I need to mention one thing. Over on Crazy Days, I did a giveaway on swamp mix, Miss Lippys Bayou Blends. So you guys go check out Gemini Homestead on YouTube, Miss Lippys Bayou Blends, I think Etsy, Miss Lippys Bayou Blends.etsy.com. Is that how you say it? And on my Crazy Days, you'll have to go back over. I did a giveaway of one of the swamp mixes, and I have not heard from the winner yet. So if you entered that, put a comment down below in that video. Go back and check. I'm trying to think who the winner was. Blessed Gypsy, I think, or something like that.
I do not know.
So if that's you, go back over there and y'all contact me, because I'm waiting to hear from her. If I don't hear from her by Monday, I will pick another winner.
You got your 15,000, they said.
Did I? Wow. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
All right.
All right, so guys, I will do a video sometime later this week. I do have a video on canning basics sometime this week, because I got all these videos to make, and Danny wants me to help him. So
yeah, we got a tough week coming up this coming week. This coming week's going to be a very long, hard, tough week.
Hello from Croatia. Thank you, Claudia. Yeah, so tomorrow's going to be one of my days to edit. And I know he's going to say we got to do, and I'm going to look at him and go, you got to do, I got to do. We got to stay separated tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be one of those days that...
he's going to be on his own.
I'm on my own tomorrow.
I already got hamburgers made up. I already got roast made up. There's some potatoes done. He's just going to have to eat and run, and I'm going to edit all day long and try to get y'all a video or two done.
Yeah, because we got a lot of video clips. We just got to get them put together.
Mary Beth will be praying for Smitty.
Yes.
Oh. Okay.
Ready?
So, yeah.
All right, guys. We love you and we appreciate you, and we will see you guys in the next video. And may the Lord bless each and every one of you. And guys, keep on keeping on and keep on preparing like you never have before, because you're probably going to need it in the very near future.